In real estate sales, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. It's one thing to make gross commission. It's another thing to be able to keep more of that money in your wallet and avoid overpaying the IRS on taxes. In this video, I'm going to show you how to keep more in your wallet and specifically how to get started and implement an S corporation status for your real estate business so that you minimize your tax liability. Hi, I'm Jim Flauaus, realestatetexcoach.com. I'm enrolled by the IRS to practice in all 50 states, and I empower realtors around the country to reduce Uncle Sam's tax bite, as well as optimize their cash flow and maximize their profit. So we shared in a prior video the advantages of filing as an S Corp. I talked about other legal entity structures, and when it comes to taxes, there is no doubt the real benefit if you compare a limited liability company to an S corporation structure. You're going to save on taxes several $1,000s every year by filing as an S Corp. And yet still, many agents, after hearing this, or after I speak to a group at a Realtors Association or a company office meeting, many realtors will hear this and scratch their head and say, yeah, but is it really worth it? And you know, what they're really asking is, show me how to get this started. It's one thing to know that it's a great benefit to operate as an S Corp, but how do I implement it? How do I get this thing into motion? And generally the questions come in form of three. How do I do it? How much does it cost? And when is the best time to get started? So we're going to address all three of those. First of all, how do I do this? You register as a limited liability company or as an S corporation or any legal entity structure through your state. That's where things get registered. Now, it may be a state corporation commission in your state. It may be the Secretary of State's office. But somewhere in your state government, there is an office that handles the registration for limited liability companies and corporations. And so it's really just a matter of registering. It's not hard to do. You could do it yourself. You can hire someone like myself to do it, or another company like a LegalZoom, or a company that is specially formed to help people form corporations. Sometimes people are just intimidated by the paperwork. Bottom line, just know this. If you want to become a limited liability company or a corporation today, you'll be one by the end of today. It's not hard. So how much does it cost? Well, the cost is nominal. In most states, the annual fee to maintain your registration can be anywhere from $75 to $200 a year. On top of that, you'll have some accounting fees, or like in the initial phase, if someone helps you set up the entity, maybe that'll cost you a few $100s. But again, if you're going to spend a few $100s to save several thousand, oh, that's a no-brainer. You go ahead and you do it. So we can help you with that. The real question for a lot of people is, when is the best time to do this? And the answer to that question depends on whether you're already set up as an LLC or not. So there's really two ways to go about this. The first way is you're currently a limited liability company, but you want to transition your tax status to an S Corp. So let's take that example. If you're already a limited liability company, then you've already done what you need to do. You're set up with the state. It's just a matter of filling out a one-page form with the IRS and telling them that you want your tax status changed. When you do that is really a matter of when you have the income that justifies doing it. So I gave an example in the prior video. Let's say you have a net income of $50,000, meaning maybe you got a $75,000 1099 from your broker, or at least you're projecting that's what you're going to get. So maybe you're at mid-year and it's the end of June, and you've got now a good visibility on what you're going to make this year because you've already had several closings, you've got some more in the pipeline, and you've got some great prospects for some new sales in the coming months. So you're now at a position where you're saying, you know, I'm going to hit 75 this year. You're also going to have about $25,000 in expenses. I can just tell you this from doing hundreds of tax returns for realtors. You're going to average about $2,000 in expenses a month, so that's $25,000. So your net income for the business is $50,000. When you hit that point, that's when you decide, you know what, I better file this year as an S Corp, because if I file as an LLC, I'm going to overpay on my Social Security and Medicare. I'm going to at least pay $3,750 too much And if you want to go through the numbers, that was in the prior video. Check that out. But at that point, you contact someone who is in the accounting field. You can contact me or someone that you trust. And you say, look, I want to get this done. I'm an LLC. I want to transition my tax status to S Corp and do whatever else I need to do so that I can pay myself a reasonable compensation and file the right S Corp tax return at year end. So that answers the when question if you're already an LLC. What if you're not an LLC? What if you're a sole proprietor? You've not taken any legal formal steps to register any kind of entity structure, and so you're by default you're a sole proprietorship. When's the best time to become an S Corp? Well, if it's mid-year and you're saying, wow, I'm going to make enough money to file as an S Corp, and you've done nothing up to that point, and then at the end of June you contact your state corporation commission, you're going to really miss the benefit of half of a year's production because you've got already 6 months of production. You're going to have to file the tax return as if you were a sole proprietor, which is what you were the first 6 months. If you become an S Corp at mid-year, well, then you can file an S Corp return for the last half of the year's production. But I'm going to be willing to bet if you're a newer agent, filing taxes half of the year one way and half of the year the other way aren't really going to give you the benefit of where you really want to be. So what I recommend is if you already are an LLC and in June you realize you're going to make sufficient income to be an S Corp, file the one-page form with the IRS and file as an S Corp. If it's mid-year and you've not already registered to become an S Corp or an LLC, then really you need to sit down with somebody and do a projection of exactly how much you're going to make the rest of the year. And is filing as an S corporation for half of the year going to justify the tax savings? Because remember, if you're projecting to make $50,000 net, half of it in the first 6 months and half of it in the second 6 months, then really your tax savings is not going to be the $3,700 that I originally said. It's going to be half of that. And if you're going to save, let's say, half of the $3,700 or maybe $1,850, $1,900, that may not be worth the whole effort. So the best time to do this is at the beginning of the year. If you are already a top producer, set up an S Corp at the beginning of the year. If you're not already a top producer, then get an LLC set up. That gives you some options. Whereas if the production is great, you can later file as an S Corp. If the production doesn't pan out, you can still file using Schedule C on your 1040, but it gives you the options. So I hope that helped. Now look, if you've got questions from this point on, please go ahead and type them in the comment section down below this video. I expect I'll be seeing a lot of questions. Go ahead and ask them. I'll do my best to answer them because from this point on, it's going to be a lot of individual questions and things that really maybe apply to you, but not everybody in general. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. I really would ask you to subscribe to my channel. That would be a big help. And don't forget, if you click the link down below, we have a great resource that you could take advantage of. It's called the Top 10 Tax Strategies that rich realtors use to save money on taxes. You know, when you first got into real estate, you probably had dreams of making a big income and having a great lifestyle, just like the $1 million agents you see on TV. Well, those $1 million agents use certain tax strategies to help them save on their taxes. And you can do the same thing. They may be secrets to the rich and famous, but they don't have to be. We know those strategies. We work with our real estate agents to help them take advantage of those. And so by being proactive with your taxes, you can go a great way to reduce your tax bite come next April. I'm Jim Flauaus, realestatetexcoach.com. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time.